Good morning, ni bwana tuko da watanite na baturu kirwa Jumatatu. Nukirwa tuna magatheti na tuketha tutare makarika mwanya kiri magatheti ya rehia mantu ethirite na mbere over the weekend kirigano kia makia kana tutikita kiama ni a section ya tongerewa kia makia ODM barabara ya Ndunga yonte cia Nyanza na Western batongeretu ni SG Sifuna Orengo na Babu Wino bomo bakiona yaka iri faction 2 ya kwenda kulita kiamene kia ODM but kurekerekene na atri bakaomba bongo sukuma bigger part ya ODM yuma yitakirutera upinzani kiuke kurekerekene tu chiuria na kinya ndani ya county ya Meru siasira siethiriti leo anyuma ya kubuto kwa Felicity Biriri narare ya kuthamira utero regan na narare chia wa Wales so nibiuri nyewe tuketha tukura ni rukiro ruare nonto itigire ikirare cho Meru kieta mbere I mean kieta Embu County, let's call it Embu County. So nikuona ni obua Meru kaba kiri tebye Meru bikiumu abieta other parts of the country ndina panelist betwa o tuna Kadurima tuna former MCA wathuana na former majority leader Mheshimiwa Victor Karethi na my host Dolcas urawambiranirie na uwe TV ne kukuma 6:30 kiri NTETO chia weru ita nambere kwa na batukulu kuna 23578 namba yetu SMS na tuketha tuita nambere kwa neri uru kiri rwa Jumatatu. Good morning gentlemen and lady.
Good morning.
Muko sawa?
Kabisa.
Hey bwana majority. It's been a while bwana.
Kabisa. But tupo.
Kawetre ni tumita leave.
Hii maneno ya Kasongo hii.
Hadi kila kitu ingine ni Kasongo.
Yeah, you know kuna kuanga na season. So kuna season imekuwa hapo but now it's coming to an end.
Wow. Kadhurima?
Yes.
Hata mkuru.
Sawa kabisa bwana Mutambei. Asante kupatana, tumetupana I think 1 year tujaonana.
1 year true.
Hata sisi tumekuwa na season nyingine unarudi nyuma kidogo unajipanga
unakuja tena.
Career wise kwanza. Then sasa unaanza kutuonaona. Yes.
Valentine girl, good morning.
How are you?
Good. Hey. Unakaa tu
Weekend inaisha tu hivi
tu.
Wewe pia wewe tukamnyora tu akarani.
Naona kama nitakupanga hivi bwana.
Si ndio?
Wow. No, katuambira ngatheti ya The Standard karatasi ne kambere season of bits. Yani uronora fisherman eta utezi makuyuru ine agethre na dwanere ya tu wikaire makuyu yake ya kawati ya etayo iririkana neo siasa ya thirikari ya Kenya Kwanza itongeretu ni William Ruto kiri mwaka yo 2027 na tugetha twini ithurano binene mwandiko ngatheti ariwa as the clock better tokenism then akawa as the clock ticks towards the 2027 election President William Ruto is struggling to change his image of Maisa, who for the last 3 years launched policies that impoverished the people through heavy unnecessary taxes that have killed businesses, increasing poverty and unemployment in the country. Now, he quotes some of the athomi barabethirite bagerite webo Professor Samuel Nyandema ariwatire ni economist lecturer wa UN ariwatire these are campaign strategy meant to blindfold the targeted groups with the various deductions. Kenya's pay slips are already in bad shape. The way out is a progressive tax policy which caters for all groups. Then Innocent Musumbi, political economist, akawatire there is more to hate. We are approaching 2027. And like any other politician, the president must be able to appease his staff as the chief hustler. Then Ruth Kinyanjui, economic analyst, but if the formal sector is going to be considered, where do we draw the line in the informal sector? She poses, how do we determine who earns less than that 1,000 in the informal sector? Now, kiurekere very open. Last week, President Naure Antubara Bakuan Mushara, you are that 1,000 and below. Pay Goritaito 50,000 and below. I'll from 30 to 25. Mheshimiwa Karithi ni hitere kinya president yona Kenya iba kore thina obuo kana ni tokenism ningo ibikirwa mpempe towards 2027.
Clearly, president ayona mission ya kuendua himself kiri antuba bakawaida, but all indications are that this is too little too late. Na kimaoni yakwa inyageta atia damenjira irikitio karika kiri mibuko ya antu bonde ba Kenya i damage NTETO. And I can tell you, Edward, thina inenera twithirite twinio ya overtaxation. Okay, taxation unimbu aitethera ina thina. If only mbeche uchithera chamba kwitha chitumirika bubu wega, but you see ithira thirikari ya kumaki payslip ya Kenyan citizens bauthurania mbecha housing nini mbecha pay bakuira, and then bakethera baina rallies every weekend baitumaira basifonite mbecha u bakethera baichitumaira all over ku divide irantu na unturene ubambecha tokenism mvite umbaweta na mbere u. And the only reason president onto ya Kibaki umbawete dianthi na mbere keelewa economy, keelewa even as you tax anto ibabati kwethera bakiona economy kiumba kwa sustained ukethera wena mantu sustainable tiwitokea ya antu tubecha kidogo kidogo hapa na pale ubawiria ki temporarily, and then batu na thino ira bethera baina cho. And I can tell you people are in great pain. Anto abati kwaria next year wirigiro bwetu mweri wenana next year anto bakari na sauti inene, and mantu yao kona yakibwithika thai iro president ake ya kumenyenye kitha into bawita ralline bakawirwa mbechi yuba kwithira bakia ya hapa na pale. They are elsewhere, and it's just a matter of time.
Okay,
It's a matter of time.
Kadrima economically
Yes.
mantura president akubanga ni thai tukona Kenya kwina mubango yonyota yura twa youth baingi ba economist barua it is sustainable is a way of bribing antuba bethi kenda rebellion irera ario ithire kiuma umo. So mantua the president yakubitha including kuwa kuita pay nyota ikware na asla fund, is all this sustainable kana obuo ni jire mwe yo campaign na koni ya Kenya ta indi na babwi na for the last 3 years Kenya baka located the nene. Is it sustainable economically? It's a campaign strategy.
Of course, karedi onna na kutegera kwa yeje meta atale bribery. It's purely atale bribery ke mwananchi wa kawaida. As an economist, ituje economy te kura kunankera to bribes. Kwende goro chagerio hatorona ndaira chetere. Unfortunately, they are benchmarking with a country that didn't do that, Singapore. Weja kwambiria aja kwa pay. Ukumekera zero rate ketate baraba kwa muchara jotate lauza and below. Let's say this is the low cadre.
Yeah.
The low cadre. Baraba employed. To na low cadre engere te these people survive with tuka $1 a day. Kwa survive with $1 a day. So kinya areta ke 100,000 akaita pay eje. Kwa total disposable income versus the economy expenditure rako kaidai tuginto ibitetie ndukene wombeje nguitere pay bitempongera maguta bitempongele housing manto jange what is the ed resort ukendrea tu struggle. So economically I don't know who is the guy who is advising this man. We saw him in 2022 as a man who would understand how to ever us through terrains ira turari cha economic tunakarete thirikari nendene. But he has proved to be opposite of what Kibaki was, opposite of what even the CS or wa finance. That guy, if he had sustained this Samia as a rate week somewhere, but nande otaka the country that we know that the president is the decision maker. We can't even blame the decision makers. We can't blame the advisors because he seems to be advising himself. So economically it's not sustainable. Ukoreta nyote ngiri 20. Ukwera mtu arugure saibaja Meru town. Ndone bena ngiro kino runtu kwira. County government Meru thai indareke adu ya fulani. Ndono imu indi fulani last year alikuwa charged 7,000 license. Ntukwe huu ndone antobaka njoba mureterete 21,000 3 times. Harafu tawere kijana ete arugure saiba. Ageitwa ngiri mugwanja yu. Ageitwa license inge MCSK or something.
But whether they will river,
This is just pure
languages yet again.
Equaria tu language siasa. You see?
Kana tongeria betu bamenyete nyatutu yantu bakwenda handout. Nonto ndikina ndi mwankira thai twithirite tukinyirika twandamana nonto bagwitithirwa taxi but one year na some few months to election irio kuona tukirwa itukwenekirwo voti maybe nyabo ibatuthomete bakamenya itwenda kurumwa na twarumwa itugatonyithwa
tokorerwa. It's true nto I think Canadian myself I avoid in Central Menti. Kwe anto baka arunga mana wa mwanga the last week but 50 bob era agenda iko era that 50 bob the previous day to
before
election
the voting day.
that will make them change their decisions. So Kenyans don't better they are gullible na the politician class babalo mete bona tuacheta ya kumubira twaringo ndera tukareto ndera.
It reminds me of Ron Rumorwa mutongerio mo I think ni Hitler. Ntuku imwe aina mushemani wa cabinet akeana na nguku ina feathers takirita ai plagi kamwe mwanka nguku yatiwe itina mabue. And then finally nguku of course ne a lot of pain kibwitha a lot of noise but aikudikania nio ikuthire inya kabisa akeana na mpempe akambiririo umithanie na obviously nyakithani kiruuru na kubwithirwa matharau ya yonde ikambiri nonto ni na mpara bado ikambiria kuthano. You see now ibo voters unfortunately batrita wao uteso all through for 5 years ute maendeleo kona rights cia wananchi ka infringed antu bakaurawa kukethira mbecha ikuiywa ile ibati kwitha ikibutha kia maendeleo and then towards the end of miaka 5 ikithira ukona atongeria bambiriria kuya anga tukubwithia antu bakarithwa nthi yukia 200 shillings left right and center but mtu akaria wichuria why wasn't it possible for atongeria ba kwithira mbecha ya antu abaturetera na to beat to kidogo ni tontu batatu bwitheria barabara ni tontu bataka sibitari ni tontu sibitari tethara ina ndawa uwe ukarea ku utaletha buri ria ngaramero tumirite for an entire 5 years wekirwa muteo na tunontu po 100 shillings kana mana ile or whatever they give yanarara kwetu yethera imana ile mainly 200 notes tia 200 chi very valuable now but you see now to inakanya as leaders nonto nyakitha tika to in elective positions to inakanya ka kwara kiande to so that hopefully majority and bethera by an opportunity ya kuelewa ati to becha to kidogo bethera bakia ya wa it's only a small fraction embecha chio ira bethera baiye so ruru are together to going forward obviously.
Aroni ngabo tunyirie nonto tutiragegana riu nonto twinamba
Very now
kire namba kire ngatheti ya Daily Nation mwandiki ngatheti ariuga ukeas corruption ikwarirwaja nontu ijaka Kenya bakinyitie nandi batiukia uria buka bathithiria nontu ikwithirite gugikunjirwa wamba bunene muno kiri atongeria baria tuthurite na kuririkana corruption iji yandite miri kiri nyomba ya the National Assembly baria ni boba batere kwithirwa bakiraitha atongeria bangi ukona kinya senate ni gwita governor fulani ikamugwata na maitia ja wambabwa millions of money ja ukethira kwi governor fulani ugurite Christmas tree na billions chia mbecha housewarming ukezithira
Kaurire Christmas 3 September.
Yes. Okay. Dira
Ugore Christmas yo ingine September katori na different country. Anyway.
Okay, dira kwina housewarming speaker igatumira mbecha nyingi kwi governor udaivatite mbecha kuma kiri ngugire ibatere kurita agaikia rutere rungi na akenya mwankira nandi ijeka banogi na rugono ruru ni rwetithitio na mbere kiri karatathi gatwere nontu bwakire gikwerekana ni wamba bwa mbecha cia mwingi na itwene gavana baba ingi bakiretwa bungeni senate lakini mwankira au kwiwa kwirwa ndio chwe mbecha cia tuchokie ka EACC itikurita ngugi eyo nontu
hata usiende mbali sana. Juzi gavana Mutumana araiti uchokia bioibe Kawira Mwangaza. Kawira Mwangaza akarokiri financial 2024-2025 na allocated more than 500 not 700 million.
Yeah.
Kire MTF ute paperwork ute contractor koni na mbeta tietre so you cannot trace ina mbeta tietre chia kutondeka the weather runs so no churi kakenya accountability by the way mukenya no wethirano you who cares.
Who cares?
And I think devolution has brought in a lot of money kumana na treasury, but expectations cha mwananchi ile ara achio ichire jira gukarana ndi ne antu bakaye tubainyeria ike tumwe korana ndi county governments iko kwao neona ndi it's the odd pot, it's the only pot na ndo to kwenda gwita as a minister, as a chief officer, as a governor unto au ne okora ne utonga bwara kaburi. In the case of Meru County, watagatha ito indona one of the MCAs umete ndera bokangeta ito Mondali, deputy speaker. I caution some of the CSs on to lavish living. Nadona wenzangu bado miba miaka yetu begire ku eat at Mondali. Mondali is a leader, is an oversight fella at the MCA inakuchata role ya oversight.
Yeah.
Na nabati koda ke oversight at these ministers. Three ministers baka iba gutakorana nchobire chito Martinel na inge live. What are you communicating to that mother in a law now cannot take his
kid? You walk around better
atena mwana areta CBE atena nya uniform. Imbio kwa mwana ora wetu ekiago na area atona kirasi ke cement ke CBE ke nasal school. Imbio kwa mwananchi ora otona ambe cha kurera murito form 4 kegerio keu. You know, we need to restrain ourselves. Na baba one achore bakwa. But it akabara better for the first time. You know, they have seen on Fridays, you know. And they nera irakinyira yana mwananchi who cares? Who cares? Kategori there are three ministers bara yau pagutanguja twana tunini. You know, brushing things. Tunaambe na tu twana tunendo twana na yeto tekinya level yau. So we need to caution such people. Odobati ko abeta kaira mwana njora ngosavu. Tibatega ba to trimana abata unia ba abenda itebi to roabo. They need to look at the common man bana. Yeshima kidogo yako iwali nyambere medo ja murungu yewete yosi aki.
You know, who cares? Ndalelia headline ya who cares? Ndirikana what is happening in the ya Kenya inyake sector employment for instance. Non to thai Edward barua chia arimu baba kuritana baba andika wa TSC and to a human resource department ya TSC edhranie kuandikana apparently atongeria betu barabaritine barita bakawa barua mtu akawa location fulani and then barua iba kedhira bakenda kia. Initially batu tatuira tuika kwa police officers bakiandikwa kuna ngirima ya tano remote yeta up to even $1 million, but the end man to yari all sectors cha thirikari na ukuwa burabureo and this is why bamobe tu bethera baina serious reservations na president urari tene corruption kikarite aka yaite the official way of doing things unfortunately nonto kwethira ukiandikwa we mwarimu no mwanka one wethire ukimenyana na political leader tu wethira wina mbecha cia kuthanania kenda ona nguiu mantu ya ni uchokia nthi na nyuma. And that's why I was telling some people yesterday, this is exactly how not to get to Singapore. Singapore utemea wita route yu ukinya Singapore at all. Na it is so painful nonto rira muchiari akuthomethia mwana with a lot of pain. Ate kumba ku raise enough money cha fees, universities that ichi underfunded. Inya high school yongwa is a serious problem. So rira mwana arikia skuru ukiwa nonto mwana wa kumurunga utethia kuruka chieri bubu wega ona whatever etire kona university, mwarimu wa whatever profession itere kwandikora kinya antu akwithira imerit antu aba witwa applications aiko bwitho na mtu aeta kuringana na arikiria skuru na kuringana na performance yaki ona ngwe kwa twiko weringi kukwandika na wendia munda kenda mwana ona omba kona an opportunity at work ombera kwa thao ukumanire na ngirima na 5 kana milioni mo wangwiri ni atanya ote corrupt. You need to raise this money mbwa muchiari okuku yanto etire ka obambecha ira kwe munda etire endia. So kendo chokia mbecha ira again ukethira expected kwambiria kwithira wena other dubious ways of raising money. So there atwetirita I can tell you na woni rinkwari wangu appeal to bonde baraba baina sense ya patriotism ya ndhi yetu ya Kenya. We need to call ourselves kamuchemanio kidogo tuchuri obwat itwetite bubu wega rikwa twika TSC yo erithira ina Kenya Police anto beta aba uchithia rwiro all over baka irwanga wenu rei wenu nukui ukia wita kona anto kiganjo my friend.
Completely opposite.
Yes, so these are painful experiences. Na imantu buru ya tebati kuwa entertain going forward, and that is why we are saying anto tuite especially by next year tuita kiri elections ira chiko itubati kwithira tu really careful. Otherwise anabetu and the generations to come barithira and ya yetere flat completely. Corruption ya the official way. Anto batu kama look at what happens on the road. Askari, I mean, mbere iko antu nyaiba kira kidogo iko arina kaheshima kidogo ona nya askari akiuka kikanto akedra nyaga kuisha ichida kidogo thaya wane hata bwana ni aje. And it's all over the country, whether Kisumu, whether Nairobi, it's now an official. Ibi to also sometimes back Mboria kwethira ilasima matatu kana ngari ciane mbecha barabara eneri ni tonto batu umekira ya form of taxation inyayo kwerekana mbecha fulani ichi andika ero no bandika antu ibandika ero no ka receipt bwana. It's a mess.
Kora. No, kirega deti ya the standard karatazine ka tona Sifuna backed faction in ODM attacks Oburu over UDA ties. SG wakiama kia ODM Edwin Sifuna brada ndiunga ruteroda Western na Nyanza ni brada na Urengo ni brada na Babu Wino na brada na excitement inene mno na section kaka wikarone kandere wa attack Oburu ovangwata niwena kiama kia UDA kadrima without baba Reu kwena the senior brother Daktari Oburu na we Sifuna nao ni Pareto Rebels Bao DM Babu Wino kwena Orengo kwena Sifuna, the three of them overlindete Rebels baba kiama kia ODM pakaombo push kiama kia ODM out of government kana kiama kia ODM kia push these people out of ODM na bedre beka short is kana maybe kapa kwenda we push out bongwa before be yakwengo ikiama.
Okay, ndatagira mbicheji at an holistic view ke ODM era wauga it's a membership bameta it's a birthright kana bameta it's a lifetime membership. Ntego expect by SG Mwankara raia ugati ambeterete gwito. That guy is ODM to the core.
Yeah.
na otaka crust ODM fan base bao para te anto baka shift from ODM one day beta ke UDA kiama kiu kina right now they're closing 20 years
20 years, true.
What I'm going to see is ako kombe kupata kuna division ponta baka chita ODM but nande of course before we go to election lazima mtu akatara kuna certificate zira mtu akuna nomination chamberlain ya so tuweterete tuona ke national delegates NDC ya congress ya ora kara cause ikedro ina vurugu nyingi mono na ndikona yake successful why wataka babu na kuwaiteni NDC nichukue banda ya baba ni babu SG agwa NTETO tuchwe tunankere mutongeri onge kiama no kara they are purely opposing to Oburu
Orengo akawa we will not join UDA.
Orengo we will not join UDA. What is happening right now na UDA na ODM orekarite sorry to say kwe Brian wake na ratumire marieto jamwe which is a reality. Just every community nireketa kwa bought by UDA. Kambas have refused. The Mount Kenya has refused. You know, Tenaro kaja iparegete. But ODM neo openete the hands Luo come and take us and it's a session of the ODM party. Oburu is a big letdown to the ODM and he has let down his brother big. Ituerete nya thero ena ka opposition kidogo. Kinyamu areo ka mwanda na arua ate kona ya. Ate ko iraeja. Ate ko rato ite. You know, Oburu has become so open. He seems to be cornered. You know, he's so desperate. Ikwera wanja ikuda kuna na firstborn urida tuna okoro and knowledge na ukakamavu kuna second born na third born beja hapa mochinda. That is what is happening in the Odinga family. Ko mention bau uta mention case ya Ruth Odinga no brona post ya we
Ruthless
there
are bare knuckles.
It seems no ron nyama no kunya Winnie Odinga wengo akiaria and that hii nkodomete yoro maybe it's a propaganda but you na some crisis meeting overnight or phone calls at the biggest White House why I have given a very big job to mama. I have splashed money to your events cause ODM right now Secretary General arugera utemba chirauma keke ya mageto
ina
event kwa ndere cha rinda retorinda ground ina ikuma. Obviously governors iba go fad obviously ko chikuma kenjere nane nyombere nane but it's a matter to we for us on tell them that ODM but we want to watch it to the end because if the figures that run the crowd we are to meta ODM B kana to meta ODM A eja ko kwata na baba nge barari kinamba na Ivasha. It will be a very exciting elections to watch next year.
Victor, union ya President William Ruto na maybe the ODM iwe na Banjoho ina ba Oginga Oburu ina ba Western na toto moita Paranya ina ba Mbadi ina ba Opio Wandai. Is it enough ya push the election ya Ruto next year?
But Edward,
yes,
you know problem we mwera twenio presently that way akirisheto as Kenyans democracy twedrete twemiari lakia na lenses chia bura ODM ekuwa nontibo by package ya ruiri rights chia wananchi. So ikwethera kwina side yele kwina side thirikari na kwina side ya movement ya ODM.
yeah.
But now what seems to be happening, ODM kikuitharia yongwa kwa twika principles zira bambiriri na cho kuma ninye chia kwambiria katiba kwethira baina movement ya kwethira kwina new constitution dispensation. Principles hii akachi yaite watered down kwa karayaka kuilazima anto bonde bedre by side in thirikari and let's say sound a warning ke Kenyans nonto the moment anto bonde ba ukuma thirikari ne bedre barero itare onde okirie ni twala twile bokiwa two term left right and center. That is how to destroy a country. Ikobati kwethera kwina anto ba call for reason anto yani anto ba kinyo break kidogo baraba thirikari ne bakaomba kwithira by sensitive keep light wananchi. So ODM as it is ni ambirite ku lose meaning, and that is why personally they excited about team eba Sifuna, Borengo, Banyanyong na part of Raila Odinga's family, na they so disappointed no Oburu nonto mzee ora ngwira kubwithia I'm certain that Raila kuringana na ora uninda ndamuyukakia nara adika kwa laluka ke Kumurika unontu I mean my friend here is saying inyakithira kenda game ya huku mathirikari na inya Oburu na bati kwithira ina restraint utibati kwithira ndi kukwendia all the principles that you've had nontu Raila na ichielesere bubu when he was alive awire itumi kiawe kia huku makithirikari konere akanthitite ku triple over na nontu ende ya Gen Z, of course we supported all that, but bo weta mwankaba eta State House alafu kwithia kutina president at that particular time, of course it would have been a very tricky direction for the country. But now that is then ya stabilize and to by sawa democracy, of course people are waiting for next elections, so ukaraka uforce the anto bonde ba ukumake side ya President Ruto is not fair. So team we whether baka gather enough momentum ya kuomba ukinya breakiment yara Oburu the current party leader wa ODM akubwithia. It's a wait and see, but either way batukanagatete na most likely bama baichita ODM something bang baichita another ODM. It's likely to happen in the course of this year, actually pretty soon in my view, not to clearly ideologies each conflict, which is good for anto batibati kwethira baina any problem with that, not to tukiawachia such divisions, then we can be in a mess. That's why people like ugeta Uganda ya Tanzania, it's so difficult for people even to talk about anything democracy uteo and to bati rights nyacha kwa about what is happening in their country. We would really do a lot of disservice in the year to Kenya to etikiria with that direction, and that's why personally uninkuirwa tukiarakia tuena freedom uirio na ODM irombare yakwa ni nyakithia tikandethera ndia member ODM. I've been a fan wa baba, but irombare yakwa ni iba thoanirie mantu ya mwananchi baka carried away na positions kidogo ira bai. Let them fight for mwananchi na inya bakarea huku mathirikari ne this time. There is always another time, who knows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dorcas?
Ngatheti ya Daily Nation nimpangira tano ira itite na mbere gukujira for quite some time nandi kire rwangirwa kithomo na mwandiki ngatheti ariuga why some parents are opting out of CBE system. Kuri na aciari mwankira nandi bamwite nandi kwebeberia na bao kire cukuru cietu kire mubango jo CBE muciari akamua kuikia mwana wawe kire international curriculum nontu bakwithirwa mpangara tano eje ingite muno kuma gutina arimu bakung'ana gutina kire kionthe gikwendekana ana ibagire kinya school fees. Rais William Ruto nerga kuga ana bete skuru with or without the fees kana uniform na mwankira nandi anene bachukuru ni bedrite bakiregana nontu bubo bakiuga ni kababa buti nontu batiomba gusustain ana baba nontu chukuru itena mbecha na itwithirite tukiona na baba ingi mwankira nandi batireta chukuru iji nontu apart from kwirwa wite chukuru tina fee kwina basic needs kwina into binge birio kubatara jakana gakariga kwenda into bibinge enya kana gaka boy ga kwenda into bibinge ketha boarding school iga kubatara mattress iga kubatara nguchio chinchia and what have you gatwara kishire mutaratara jojo a CBE imutaratara jo mwega atwaju matukirie kana twabatere okaragi 844 tukamba kwagirithia mutaratara juju jwarikia kwagira riu tukajwambiria antu akungabu na maisha ya twana.
Okay, if I go first, CBA no turage ku blame mono the current government. Na mturat ego sit down square Matiang'i is on the wing era twende turida here one time. Ya mwari bogeria kutathwe research injaga na batategere research outside the country na ready thitwe na nya research yeto ya within our institutions. Unto imbije tai no be confident enough kugwa kwino CBA takinya. Tulkana na ubateja manzo CBA. Kinya koroka aja igembe some parts of school yaba kuga baikie CBE. It was not done, it was rushed. You know charge that we know nene. But it was sense, individually go sense like this was a money minting business for some people in the government.
In
why?
Which way? Okay.
In school chori ya mbecha na njira nyingi mono. Some of these schools are not owned by animals, they are owned by human beings. These human beings are in associations. Iba go push trikare tu, iba kolobe trikare some ways. Okay, otaka uniform ya mwana primary da yini like nyerengiri 28,000. School fees etrarewa. Na trikare je already ne delay te ku release. No otaka didi nyoro na rauga mbechera cha release last month. Chiare cha the previous year. Ande mwaka joja ka mori to mo atomere chiringi dato ni wara vya calculation eu. You see, we have to make a earlier decision on CBE. Neukara it is not working. Factually neukara practically na to corner it is not working. So the question is the government irekeja kana iraye kuda iraye kuni corona ni raronga mere na itakwenda kwa ria bantu ja ku do away with the CBE. What other measures can we take? Like the president akiuga uniform ai lazima anabeta skuru na uniforms. Nataka kona ikwe nations imo outside the country with the uniforms. I've been to regions. I've been to an area like Lagos, Nigeria, last year. And on our school bus, she drop anabe casually dressed. I've seen that. I've seen that in some private schools in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam are. Na Zanzibar wengi wanaenda na nomo ya. Ika bindi as a policy. How long should that take? Already ko baba inge ba school, but then a uniform you, it's a big cost. Second thing, onia mama as an academist nkuigwa nyamore eje leka itetuikia mbere mono no tuwe twategera China twogera China tukona zuia na ba China woiba go these gadgets na twatega tuijimije the biggest industry. If we had stayed with the 844 system toka ongera tu practical zira cheto as we know our African market toka put more emphasis on agriculture, toka put more emphasis on arts, toka put more emphasis on ito science. You see, turumba kudora tokita students bakomba go chiajiri. You know ebati kudora our end goal. Morito orea adhiria skuru ateta go chwangu geke thirikari kana ge institutions chetu imuntu komba go kujiemploy. Na turumba kudira toka move nyake school ito ta I've lectured at Kenya University ku school to ta School of Economics and Business. Tokomba kudira toko move our education na model ku deliver from theoretic to case based. To the case analysis, business cases. To go to wiki ananya attachment no jaire within their period. Tiba taira kere wa adiri ba ko interact na the world, the employment world. To go after the first 2 years. Okoita okaumara o menya 6 months. Uga train okona first third world or how it goes. Okay, jakairo kadiri ogata another one. Na arimu bakadhivya case based delivery. That one would have gone the right way. But the changeover, it's ne tainya in government yogonya ngone remi ko fund model age. That is why they are delaying releasing money. In 2025, they are releasing money in 2025 instead of 2026.
Victor, on that breath, ito kuna ghost new schools nyingi nili hawa mpesa na mpesa tutemina chita. So it tells me from the national level to the county level, kuna directors wa sub county na ambi kusustain kithomo ndene Kenya ke it's so expensive kana kuna lupo si nyingi mno cheku ya mpesa chekithomo. Because I'll give you a very good example na the private schools umutiari ukarira mono kutwe take for example 20,000 mono ware school mwana huu akamatwa na bus infrastructure cia skuru iu ibeta. What happens with public schools na kwina mbeca okay awete kiri budget ya this financial year kithomo kio kana kiri the biggest share ya pesa hii, then what happens after that?
I mean purely mismanagement na mbere to ariria bo personally concept ya CBE in the menda I think it was well thought out. Thina tu imantu na implementation na commitment ya thirikari na nonto ba challenges uche implementation ni disadvantage ya na bamwe mno honestly nonto if you come from a very humble background ukethera we gishagi antu fulani kwina facilities nyingi utethera we nacio nya assignments katika we I don't know what they call them rira mwana era wanete abuithie exercise fulani rimomba kwalilie bora mauku ya kuwa na practicability ya mantu ya ukire mwana uwa inturene ukuhona it's a tall order rimomba kwiro nyewe tawalilie gintu computer my friend you know inya steam oteyo inya computer utameona nongo kulukirite market ukona computer tuke cyber ukero nie kariro but ukona ndi kwe no kwendekana nyobu ithia to assignments I don't know rete ka print out you know so kwe boyumba kwithira ke advantage na bangi ke disadvantage especially umete in our kind of communities. Now the nera idara iko again kiwita back to the to kwa kinyecha corruption, because how do you explain thirikari ni utuma millions of money ya boku ke thukuru itewe exist na waiko te mtu awatwa o atumane ina atuma I mean honestly
na ino ritere mbeche
yeah na te tringi moka na ile millions of money na waiko hiyo story imekanyagiwa hakuna mtu hata mtu anaiongelea baadaye, and that's why I'm continuously saying they care wachi antu bakuria biuria. I'm telling you we are doomed non to by now itubati kwithira turona antu bawatirwe non to bakwithira barari kikatele uya siphon money. I'm pretty sure akukethira kwina antu tubatalite thabu bakona mbecha njira tu ekurita mbecha ke thirikari alafu bahita bachira for their own good. Now kire systems of course mtu akibutha kia biashara ya kia skuru no that are very keen not to no kwenda kuendua skuru nya kire anto it's a business you want to manage it nicely kwethira kuena value for money and all that but unfortunately wamba kwethira wandiki thirikari no kialila kia bora thirikari yo frustrate we moritingwe wa thirikari ukaua wache ikae vile itakaa ukaditangwa wetu you know just like that mbeche ile ya late ukethira we you are a head teacher you are so frustrated kuna bills ukwenda kuria so many things have collapsed skuru so ende ukiritangwe in the first place utemerita nyawe happy we merita tu mtuko chieta na mbere wona your salary so in the end anabakethira bado no boba kumia. So that's a difference and just like I've said ana baraba kwa seriously disadvantaged na system way ibaba umete in our kind of communities and for things to work out managers barabare entrusted na department ya education ibaba tikwithira by more keen mantone na supervision na legislators beto antobaria bakina 2 term bakethira bakithia tabu bwa bakona mbeche iri batikuithira chikinya maskuru yetu ichio kinya in time to avoid frustrations ira arimu bakwithira baina chio na bethira baina chio ireta chieta kiria chiari chieta kiriana so it becomes a big problem.
We have 11 minutes kuthiri yetharetu but atwetekiria u nontu mheshimiwa ka Victor kwariria manto ya parliament parliament ni kuresume royo that's a national assembly in the senate na been a lot of things kwaririo manto igio transition kiri thirikari reke ya next year kwariria manto ya budget ya mwaka 2020 yo thirikari corruption utako corruption na agenda nyingi mno bena choche kwariria bachokera ntuku ya ruyu nkurikana speaker wetagula akiaria credit street ira barino some days ago awire 56 of these members of parliament batichoka omuntu nete aibange ura kombo kwithira aichokaniria because mantu ya tibui and then ya ground and then senate ni teokari mantu ya ku establish out for 7 counties governments spends billions of money for the 2024-2025 financial year as they work to beat the 31st deadline they have to scrutinize the Auditor General's reports. So Kadurima, President Kureha branded the parliaments. Yeah, den of corruption. Thai bari bobe yito kuthia ta sijui county cha tumira mbesa lakini baba batikuithia tiraura batumirite mbesa CDF ora batumirite because they have been caught na on Friday pas accident obo Court of Appeal yo overturn ruling ya High Court ya ku NGCDF ni constitutional. So abunge ba kabachokete utethia mwingi in matters of policy kana tu bachokete wamalize tu mwaka wa serikali better treat lakini business yerana ni we but debate on issues ili tumbo tethia mwananchi because no kurika na baibo abwithe finance bill ya 2024 be ya bakulukia baringaringa mpe and so many other issues. So bunge kechokete ku make key decisions cha tethia mwananchi kana tu no mantara tumenyereti.
I think apparently mreona mwerere uga edainere nini kuga atem kuga who cares what they are going to do in parliament. I don't care what Moses Kirema is going to do in parliament. He has been there 8 years. Acha if tumuona akiongea kitu ya maana, he has never pushed any motion. Do I care what he's going to do there? I don't care right now as a mwananchi or Central Menti. In North Menti, do they care what Rahim is going to do? In South Menti, do they care what Shadrack Moti is going to do or speak in parliament? Tuena just 1 year to election. Ingoge kwa unene bethe kuthithia mwaka jo batathie kuma 2022, 2023, 2024 na 2025. You know, turaereka sakas ka just fiasco, just drama. Any iraere politics cheto yati to karai movie to kona. You see, we know the end, we know the end result.
The end game, yes.
So me personally, I don't care what they're going to do there because I know in reality kila bethe kuthithia iko cho ambeja cha campaign cha 2027.
Self-explanatory.
Victor.
Yeah, you know, just like my friend here, otake into significant to regulate babuithia kiumbi kio change yanthi non twende ne tabaka mantu ya corruption iboba kwendia baroa chia kuandikana iboba involved in no scandals left right and center bakera kiochwa mbeche chia kubribanto mwaka ni wa 2027. So personally otake into significant mbeterete tukona alignments yo ukiakona ne abunge bawetikiria nteto era tukona state house. How do you convert state house kwethira ki branda na colors ya kiama? Honestly nya moi rari state house nteto era tukona I think biethete bia Kanu I KICC if my memory serves me right tutakinya antu akwethira state house irebati kwethira ire a symbol of national unity. Inya wathiroro wa kiama kingi wita state house ubati kwethira ukiona ibaba wenu wa the nation, but as it is now we are getting reduced to indetoria tukina ndwembo chia kiama everything now, you know, itubati kwethira tuina voices of the parliament ikuomba ku call you know those in the top leadership to order, but unfortunately tuena atongeria ba ya yongi ndene akiura kia President Ruto wina pick up nyeto kuthani kura iwete okarie na chio. I mean, how do you do that honestly? So ote kento significant kona of course kukethira kwena team yaba Sifuna yaba Gachagua na bange. I mean baba realign ki Gachagua we baba wino ba of course they will try to make a point. Unfortunately aba mbike kwa drowned kire voices chia masses you area assemble at the parliament non to bate in touch na ground at all baichingaira au bunge bakaithwanira baibongo unfortunately, and Wetangula, like you've just said, are right. Oba won tu obaira kura cha Kinya, things will be different. Na ankwere on to have had the experience ya kwethira ndiretine ram to thara retine wa mwirete kiuno gite ona gokorota anashindwa how so inya gukethira inya beta bungera barithira bakiarakia bakaria kabatura kuo kana baketha baiku in the next after the next elections whereby comforti, but from where I sit otegi into Burumbe beterete kia maana inya budget ye bakethra bakibwitha kia this financial year most likely rethra tu ebwithitu in such a way that bakethra tu baentaisi antu tumantu tu kidogo budget nyingi ethra ikairwa areas zira bakomea bakarita kenda betha baina a lot of money istio the man to meaningful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us anything burning before we go to Secretary.
Gutete kimeneria thirikari nontu bwa kwithirwa sha na muno kiria arimu itigwita ngugi na baba ni arimu bethirite bagiteta bakiuga bakaritwa kiriminate ibatigwe kiriminate yagiritwe ibatethie na bariuga mwankira na ndi itigwita ngugi na opposition ije still ni kumeneria thirikari nontu bwa ikubire bigwita na mbere gukujirwa nterire chia Ukraine kirindwere gwita na mbere gatigati Russia na Ukraine.
You have 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Strictly.
I think ono kira mpomba kuria, is there anything that is working for this government? Talk about CBE, talk about higher education, talk about SHA, talk about security, tuatagaranga the drought bukoona na aja teje last in Turkana irejira na ndemo anka isioro borders to crossing to Tigania East na I think there is side ile kwa nani. Is there anything that is working for this government? Our youth siba kuwa na area rashi ntu ibaretre kuichwira.
According to them kila kitu inaenda sawa.
Everything is to them is working. That's why nakuga wege tene ukero kegeta utetikia. The same way area ukero police chaku itekuita nguge utetikia. Ruto doesn't believe that akana. Inde yoke tutuga kyoki nenya kwa yakoroba kwa bagurene njaba kwa mokoro kwa teana na neje bora utiko muthithairia. Amu frustrator. Ugetekia antu kweroka jawe theria nyomba ina kumurika etere na ngoche otochiona.
Victor, is everything working for
Nothing is working. Weta nara kwa tu ngombe iriyo every day. Bado tuturana livelihood ya tu nara ingombe. Ndethia every time ikuiyo akibe nara ura ya beire na thona they had I think bari na chopo 12 be aba puithia kintu beta feedlot. They weta no te nyangu kuire ore Kenya ngombe. They took everything injira tu ku siphon beche cha wananchi. A lot of flattery. Ndoaria eta just send and to benu ba weru beta kibiro. Bari ngembishire chiare kurira Ruto areo and what is there now the ingradina. I mean anto ba ndoaria keto PR kuira wirianto hapa na pale but nothing is working. Yate okire chiara bire alafu
we move kire cartoon ya the Standard. Very interesting times in this country. Kire cartoon ya the Standard. Bisha ni ile
page gani?
Page 12. Page 12. Bisha mbere, an overwhelming number of aspirants want to vie for the seats via our party. Bisha number 2. An overwhelming number of us are just waiting to die. Yani, President yeriwa kiama ga UDA kina aspirant bara paingi pakwenda ite mwanya na bontu bara baro meri mparadai baruwa batu na berana ne batu atweterete okwa. React in seconds on that.
I think that kino yoto kwa raia.
Yeah,
a man
true.
who has no touch of the ground, a man who doesn't I wonder even if NIS really advises this man, because sometimes in Kenya with the political advisors back on economic advisors to overtake you have to go to structures cha government. NIS wakavera this is not the reality. Na bagamura ndaikere muthia pamura kura yite ku adapt. That's the time the guy will
correct cartoon yes.
na ni ewi church eurontu abantu bakiro baba ingi bakwendetikia amina kurwa na UDA oni nyake amake UDA giatiara gionkantiro amake nkaromba kura next year
Cartoon ya nation Douglas
kiringa thiti Daily Nation cartoon ire page 11 kwina kiongo gia gichungwa au kira gi symbolize ODM na ikiagamitie kanyua na kiriuga na maguru jaramirite giti kia makia UDA na ngwataniro ya Azimio na tunywa tu tukwaria tu twire bariuga we are in broad based government to stay na kanyua kange kariuga ODM is a major constituent in the opposition coalition kwa ube na tama barindezi batikwenda kuma no nde na mpangara tano itikwenda
so igo kwenda itika deputy president batikwenda igo kwenda kutha Pedrikane batikwenda kutha Pedrikane so where is ODM?
ODM is all over. Ora tukuwa ringi going forward tukona watu kana kunene kwa chungwa riri turariri mwe and I'm certain that Kenya baba ingi baritania na rutere rwa rukethera rutere ni ro wananchi baba kudetera haki baba kuwa gukethera kwina kura na yakutu kuona antu bakiurawa baba kethera bai protect sanctity ya payslip ya mwananchi so na wingi bao in my view ichungwa ya 3/4 remba kwitha rutere ruru ari the original baba that we knew ruru ngina ruru ukire twala twende pakiwa 2 term ruketha maybe ruina quarter ya chungwa.
Thank you Kadrima for the time
Okay,
kwa yao Victor asanteni sana nontubo gwita na ba twitika moving forward together twikarathe yao nontubo ndo ari mwanya next time ngawita nkwenda twari mount ya sentiment right
yes otwita unto tobanga
wow.
Last word inkwera antu bonde ikaba aspirants barabe ke the parliamentary seats ikaba twitaitanire tukarende twarie we take these 9 guys home
wow
ponde
wow
pakayo.
Thank you very much nontubo guthawatanite na batu tuchokigire studio cietu cia War FM Karemi County na Martin Beruterera bayitithie mwaka thithatu na kuma thithatu mwaka thinya kikosi ke sports kikethira kiria kendo kuonira mantu yarari weekend ndigurune ya michezo from where we are Kumurika Mangatheti ithira wina kiumie kea na withire wina a very productive day.